So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know. And I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's funny.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount in the lawsuit.
He got a he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that, you know? There's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because, I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous.
By me, when I also was a supporter of Ron DeSantis. Sometimes I attacked him unjustifiably in the media. Remember when I was a supporter of Ron DeSantis? I said over and over again that he was going to be the president. I said that. The sugar man. Remember? I love the sugar. I love the sugar. I gotta pee.
And at this point, spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event, yes.
That speeded it up a little bit?
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Sure.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
A while. I mean, you know, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. You know, so. If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end.
I can't believe that they still do the hotel thing. That's so annoying to me, especially considering that Donald Trump owns hotels and literally used those hotels and upcharged 3x and still continues to do so for Secret Service and any other, like, Hannity masterclass of making zero news. You have to admire Sean Hannity's ability to get Trump and Musk for an exclusive hour-long interview and make absolutely no news from it. For like 5 minutes, Hannity was just going on about the things Elon has done in his career and how great he was, and his question was like, you'd think liberals would love you. Hard stuff. I am noticing there have been a few edits and cuts in the footage, including that quick cut before the last commercial break. Editing these interviews, we were told, is a grave offense. Did we get the full transcript? Trump says Elon can't be getting a leg up with Doge because he's going after the electric vehicle subsidies, which of course Elon will want because he runs Tesla. And Hannity just sits there nodding, not bothering to point out that Musk has long railed against those subsidies. Yeah, I mean, it is by design to obviously do that interview and make it so non-contentious, so uncontentious that like it doesn't give you anything at all.
And hotels for illegals. And yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOJ team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization. Sure. And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected.
Sean is just asking if you guys are open for a third. When he's like, so what's the relationship looking like right now? He's just saying, like, are you guys looking for like a third? I could bottom. I'm hungry. I could do a lot. I could do a lot in this position for both of you. Mr. Musk, Mr. President Musk, sir, it says here that you recently impregnated one of your reply guys. I'm noticing that now that insemination process is over, could you please also give me your seed as well? I would like to be the first MPreg. Like, are you guys polyflexible? That's the question that Sean Hannity's actually asking here. Oh, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy what is considered journalism. It's almost as crazy as, what do you call it? It's almost as crazy as, like, Sean Hannity of Fox News saying, yeah, I hate mainstream media. It's like, bro, you are the only thing in mainstream media. Like, that's it. Fox News is the only thing that remains in mainstream media. And they still rail against mainstream media. Okay, man, that's awesome. I feel dirty watching this. Me too. Me too.
Him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. but he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby, you grab your baby. It just
hug the rocket.
I've never seen.
Right, everything needs including rockets.
No, but. And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. And nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn. I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering, it would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting?
I think what really pisses me off the most, I really, really think what was extra frustrating about this current government is how openly stupid they are. I can't stand it. Maybe I got that smug, elitist, entitled liberal in me, but it's just so, I don't even have the words to describe it. I feel like it's just not for me. This branding is for a different kind of person. You know what I mean? A different kind of person that I can just imagine in my mind. I gave a quote the other day, which is just the type of person who is most likely to be pulled into a cryptocurrency rug pull. And I hate it because there are more people like that than there are people who even demand some semblance of intelligence in the branding of this administration. It's really a sign of the change in attitude. It's a sign of the times when you got, almost got it. I hit it, but I don't know where it went. Okay, there was a gnat. The dumber they are, the dumber American people get. Yes. That's what's so frustrating about it. It's just it's not that these guys are stupid. It's that it also is a somber reminder that everyone else is getting dumber and dumber because they eat this. They eat this garbage and go, this is brilliant. It is a consistent, resilient reminder that we are actively getting dumber. I hate it. Just bought a new PC laptop and it won't let me use it unless I create a Microsoft account, which also means giving their AI access to my computer. This is messed up. There used to be an option to skip signing into creating a Microsoft account. Are you seeing this too? Yeah, he's Mr. Linux, dude. This is the nation's tech support, by the way. Yeah. Exclusive. FDA staff reviewing Musk's Neuralink were included in Doge employee firing, sources say. Wow. Color me surprised. I can't believe Elon Musk would take advantage of the awesome power that he has over the regulatory agencies that are tasked with understandably regulating his ridiculous, unethical businesses. I agree with him on this. I hate how invasive Microsoft is. Yeah, it is true. They are annoying. But this is more so a testament that he doesn't understand that there's a workaround as Mr. Tech Support.
But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. he gets it done. So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress
and
to follow
will
up?
be. A lot of them will be, yeah.
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're now like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first company, private company, to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink.
At some point. Yeah.
Is in over.
I mean, they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries.
Oh,
This is going to be
one can
hard.
only
I feel
dream.
like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see, and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that to becoming a success?
Neuralink
Yeah, dude, here is Sean Hannity talking to a billionaire about how dope it is that he wants to brain chip everyone. Okay? Like, Republicans are obviously cooked, but I never really thought how cooked they would be in terms of, like, how susceptible. Like, I didn't think that they'd be this susceptible to propaganda. Okay? Because I feel like this is, I mean, it's like it's directly what they claim Bill Gates wanted to do. And here is Sean Hannity saying, like, you're trying to do this thing that we've attributed to Bill Gates for years, and it's an overwhelmingly positive thing. I love it. Please, how can I sign up for my brain chip? Like, these guys went from 5G coronavirus vaccines are giving you they're putting a brain chip in your mind to, like, Elon Musk is actually going to do that, and it's going to be awesome when he does.
We've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah. I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method, fundamentally, is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time.
Matters.
But
That's why.
But he's on your team.
President.
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You
couldn't.
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Doge. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are, okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so just
And they're very committed people.
so
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When
At
are you
the
getting them?
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
This is a direct shot at Boeing, by the way. They're like, yeah, we'll get SpaceX to return them instead of Boeing. Straight up, that's what that is. He's giving a W.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had to wait,
What political reasons would they be left up there for? Like Biden just wanted to abandon the astronauts in space? Is that what you're saying? Because of woke? The astronauts were not woke. That's why Biden left them there.
of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent.
My suspicion for Boeing, my suspicion for why Boeing didn't do their scheduled flight return was unironically because they were already getting pummeled in the media at the time. And they were worried that these missions are risky and there's a chance for failure. It would have been the final draw for Boeing. And that's literally the reason why they were like, nah, let's just keep them up there for now. This is my speculation. I'm just assuming that they did it for bottom line purposes.
But we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
what's
He
that?
was going to leave him in space.
It's not political. It's profit related. I suspect that they considered it to be too big a risk, which is still ridiculous to keep him up there for that reason, just so you know.
I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like
He
when we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity.
Yeah, Biden has nothing to do with this. Like, if you think that Biden himself made this decision, you're out of your fucking mind.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people
He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again,
Oh my God. The glaze is crazy.
to getting
The astronauts themselves a few days ago said this was a lie. The astronauts were scheduled to return in February, but that has been delayed to late March due to testing of SpaceX Crew 10. The Crew 9 missions were reduced to 2 astronauts. No, this is not correct. Another delay, as evidenced by the fact that even the article title says another delay. They were supposed to return a long time ago. It's a Boeing mission. Yeah. After a series of technical hiccups prevented Boeing's Starliner capsule from bringing NASA astronauts Sunita Sunny Williams and Barry Butch Wilmore back to Earth in August 2024, it appears that yet another delay will keep the two in space an extra few months. Like, it's not because of politics. It has nothing to do with Biden. It has more to do with Boeing itself. Yeah, they were not abandoned necessarily. That is also ridiculous. But understand that this was not about Biden at all. It was a risk assessment made by Boeing and NASA, but primarily Boeing. And I think the risk assessment was also the safety risk of the return flight, but more so the risk assessment of what might happen if there is a failure to Boeing stock. Do they have enough oxygen? Yes, dude. What? No, they're going to kill them. What do you mean? Do they have enough oxygen? Yeah. Oops. I guess they forgot. Do they have enough food? Yes, they have enough everything. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, they get supplies up there. They get resupplied in the process. That's been the rhetoric. That's been the narrative from day one. Stranded, abandoned, stuck, Butch Wilmore said while speaking to CNN's Anderson Cooper from the ISS. But that is, again, not what our human spaceflight program is about. Although Wilmore admitted that he understood why others may think that, he said that they came to space prepared for any and all contingencies that we can conceive of. We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded. The astronaut continued. If you'll help us change the rhetoric, help us change the narrative, let us change it to prepared and committed. That's what we prefer. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's technically a blessing you get to spend more time in space looking down at Earth. I mean, the more going and spending time in the ISS is kind of like how I feel coming back to LA after spending time in Japan. You know, the more time you spend up there away from America, the better, I think.
you do all of this, I would think.
Bro, did this person just get murdered? Why is every single fucking person hitting me up with a story right now? All of a sudden, out of no, is it in the Discord? Did someone like drop the link in the Discord or something? A fire chief in San Francisco was murdered by right-wingers or something. And now literally everyone in the chat is like, please stop everything and drop it and cover it now. Oh, see, right as I said it, this person, did it just happen? Is that why? I'm going to cover it in a second. Okay, calm down.
Liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And I didn't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally, and then I happened to
Elon's about to get real autistic in here in a moment. I'm just giving you a trigger warning.
mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name, and it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Guys, like...
He did not like that. He did not like Elon doing that, sitting so close to him.
You just can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him, yeah, you pay a price. You know, it's I walk in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane. Yeah. I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like. But it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I had endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect, you know, how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
be like those
BT,
ashes on the
before
floor.
BT. Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
I don't even know if Trump likes this. Like, yeah, victimhood stuff is good. Like, it plays well to the base. But I think as a narcissist, he likes being liked as well. And I'm pretty sure the constant reminders that everybody fucking hates him probably does not make him happy. Probably hurts his ego too. The political aspect of the whole Boeing thing is not like Congress politics. It's internal. NASA, SpaceX, Boeing politics. NASA is the ultimate authority with respect to whether the astronauts are brought back. Boeing wanted to bring them back, since not doing that is a major L for them. In classic Musk fashion, he's twisting the truth to benefit himself. Yeah, but the reason why they delayed it is because of the failures exhibited, like, or the likelihood that I think Boeing corporate probably pushed back a little bit more on the return flights, like the returning the astronauts back to Earth, because they were worried if they fail.
Welcome back to Hannity. And
the insider info? No, this is not insider info. When I talk about Boeing, understand that nothing I'm telling you is something that Murat has ever told me. Murat doesn't tell me shit, okay? And he would never. Are you kidding me? Don't be ridiculous. That's why I said it's my own speculation. Wink, gotcha? No, dude, there's no winking. I'm not winking at all. Don't be a dumbass. You guys are so stupid.
we are back at the White House, and here's part 2 of my exclusive interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop, in a way. You're still doing it.
It's wild that this is an interview. Oh my God, if one more person says the White House Twitter posted pictures Trump, long live the king, no joke, I'm just going to end the broadcast today. I can't deal with this, man. Why are liberals like this, bro? What is happening? Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. I think it's got to bother Trump a little bit that Sean Hannity, the #1 glazer, is this aggressively sucking off Elon Musk in front of Donald Trump. This entire interview is just him sucking off Elon, being like, you're the wealthiest person on the planet. You're the greatest person that we've ever seen. You are God's gift to mankind. Why are you so gracious enough to drop everything and just associate yourself with this historically unpopular guy sitting next to you? Why did you cast aside all of the liberal media, all of the like liberal polite society glazing that you got for free for years just to work alongside our incredibly unpopular president? It's like getting in a threesome. It's like being in a three-way and feeling like you're left out because the other two people are just way more invested in each other. Like Sean Hannity's the throat goat. You don't want to see your throat goat throating someone else harder in front of you.
And you partner with him. And this is what you get from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give a flying rip? Oh, number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if
what is the state? Do you think everyone working at the federal agencies is living in DC? Do you think that all civil servants like live in D.C. and wanted Kamala Harris to. What kind of statement is this?
If the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people.
Also, do you think that if a Democrat came out and said, if a civil servant under my administration voted for the Republicans, I'm firing you, Sean Hannity would go on television every night and repeat that over and over again and basically call for a civil war. Okay? But here is Elon literally saying that in broad daylight to Sean Hannity. And Sean's like, yeah, that's incredible, Mr. President. That's an incredible statement that you just said, Mr. President. No one could have said it like you, Mr. President.
Is this making sense? I mean,
No, of course it does. I mean, to me,
like the notion that civil servants have to be political partisans is also insane.
and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air.
Yeah, he's referring to Elon here, not Trump.
And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the...
Forgot about FEMA clearly? Yeah. Oh, you mean the FEMA person that immediately got fired for saying that they were not going to offer aid to houses with Trump signs or whatever? What are you talking about? You think that's how the federal government works? Are you stupid? Do you think the federal government is only entirely comprised of Democrats? One, are you that stupid? Because that's not the case. Also, that person ironically wasn't in D.C. for the record. Once again,
the principles of our framers and our founders. They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people, and we'll get
and slaves
to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah,
and women to not be able to vote. Or really, no one who people who don't have any property shouldn't be able to have a say.
my goal was to get great people, and when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things that he's done. But I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold. But I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. He uses the word care. So they signed a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. There's a certain something. But he uses
so high IQ that they literally looked at budget cuts and basically ran a script, and then once again falsely interpreted the data to say that they did $8 billion in savings when the truth was $8 million in savings. God, I love how high IQ they are.
This is the word care. So people have to care. Like When I bought Air Force One,
Exactly.
I negotiated the price. It was 5.7 billion, and I got them down to 1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing
This is
forever.
the
I don't
new
know
Air
what's
Force
going on.
Yeah.
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying.
Yeah, deregulate Air Force One.
Where he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity
Yes.
to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency
Yes.
if we really dig down.
I'd be so happy. Yeah. Boeing is the only deregulation I'm in favor of is deregulating Air Force One. Like the builds. Fuck it. YOLO. Fire all the staff that actually is engaging in safety inspections.
And do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the
Yes.
specifics. You say the same thing. It's not
Absolutely.
done yet. And what did you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And you know, people like. It's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do.
Yeah.
He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
It's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country, so dangerous
Well-
and so bad. And the
Well, they do know because I am violating it. But what are they going to do about it?
media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on
He
occasion.
was going to say MSDNC and he did MSNBC. He said it correct.
The level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These
They
are
lie.
horrible people.
They tell
They're
conspiracy
liars.
theories.
And they start up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution.
Oh my God. I can't believe Fox News is like, yeah, other channels are serial liars. Other networks are actively lying, I say, at Fox News, who has first of all, who's been successfully sued for defamation and slander, and also has successfully defended itself in times of the past by claiming that they are not an actual news network.
Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, you know, the hatred with the. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, you know, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into the as the
Part of her
answer.
word
I've
salad.
never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time,
Yeah.
because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad like USAID. And I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it. And
I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. Make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half. And it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Someone call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word. It's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration.
The part that hurts the most is that what they're saying is technically not incorrect, especially in terms of like how the federal government is utilized. Like, yes, government contracts are mint. Okay, look at the Department of Defense. This is perhaps one of the greatest areas where you can immediately see rampant corruption. Okay, government has basically unlimited money, and private companies love getting government contracts. So there is truth to all of the things that they're saying as far as like how much they bill and overcharge the government. Ironically enough, none of that actually returns back to the workers either, mind you. It's literally just the executives that are getting paid for all of their negotiations. And it's not even really a negotiation. It's basically lobbying on the front end and then just getting these fat contracts on the receiving end. Having said that, maybe in defense, but as a federal contractor, that is not the case. They keep costs down everywhere and cut funding down on almost all proposals, especially in HHS, EPA, etc. Everything, even when you're going for the lowest bidder, everything on that side of the industry is upcharged. Like the costs are absolutely upcharged. Having said that, because everyone else that's competing with you is also marking up. Having said that, the reason why I get very frustrated about this is that this asshole right here also does that. He is perhaps the greatest beneficiary of the public-private partnership. There is not a single company that he operates that does not rely entirely on either government subsidies or government contracts. That's why it's so frustrating to watch this guy be like, yeah, they're just, they're stealing money. It's crazy. It's so annoying.
Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that,
Right.
you know, they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat out
It was
lied.
insane.
Yeah. I've covered this before, but also this asshole, Donald Trump, personally overcharged Secret Service 3 times the price and still does to this day. So everything that these guys are saying, they have done personally. That's what's so goddamn annoying about this. It's like a bunch of bank robbers who are now in charge of the bank and are saying, you know what the problem is? All these other people are robbing banks, dude. I, on the other hand, will never rob this bank now that I'm in charge of this bank, while I'm also, basically putting my hand in the vault and just grabbing as much as I can.
Welcome back to Hannity, and we are in the Washington swamp where for years far-left bureaucrats burned through your hard-earned tax dollars on woke political causes, Green New Dealism, transgenderism, and, even anti-American propaganda. Those days are now over. More of my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk.
The days of American propaganda are over. Yeah. The day that American propaganda or pro-government or, the outlet behaving like a state apparatus, the day that is done means you've killed yourself, Sean Hannity. This is where American propaganda occurs.
As I scroll this information, and I'll scroll a lot more than I'll mention to both of you, and this is the cost savings. I want people at home to understand this part. Average American makes $66,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay? We have $37 trillion in national debt.
Yes.
Now, all the money I'm about to mention and what we're going to scroll on our screen, and all of this is going to foreign countries. It is not being spent here in America for better schools, law and order.
I think the average tax-paying American should be mad as hell because their tax money is being poorly spent.
All right, let me go to the second question first. I want to know, because people like Joni Ernst and
Joni Ernst has tried for a long time, and she's actually got a lot of good data. Senator Ernst has been really helpful, actually.
Okay, but they actually hide what the real purpose of the spending is.
Sure.
In other words, this is a question. How did you decipher? It will say humanitarian blah, blah, blah in Serbia or Afghanistan. We even give money to China, for crying out loud, which I think is nuts.
We'll give money to the Taliban.
But money to the Taliban?
Like a lot.
All right, so
I'm like, for what?
But
I want to see the pictures of what they did.
But they try to obscure it, but then you got to the bottom line, which is what I'm now scrolling on the screen, and that is $20 million on a Sesame Street show in Iraq, $56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt, $40 million to build schools in Jordan, $11 million to tell the Vietnamese to stop burning trash, $45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma, $520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa, DEI programs in Serbia. The president's favorite. I'm sure you love that taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender comic book.
It sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done. It sounds like a comedy sketch or something.
I have 20 pages of this.
Right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
If you had to put a number on it, how much do you think you've identified waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at this point? And again, we're going to be scrolling this throughout the program.
Well, the overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. This is a very important thing for people to understand. A country is no different from an individual in that if an individual overspends, an individual can go bankrupt, and so can a country. And the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
For this fiscal year.
God, the deficit hawking is so stupid, dude. Oh my God. Oh, I hate it. You are literally a recipient, okay? You are Oh my God. You are a government subsidy eater. Okay. You're a real eater too, not like a fake eater. Okay. You're in the clean plate club of eating. Okay. And also, this guy's a douchebag that offered ginormous tax cuts to corporations and the wealthiest people in American society. Neither of you care. What is happening?
True. Yeah, we inherited.
Yeah.
And inflation is back. I'm only here for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, inflation is back. I'm only here for 2.5 weeks. It's grown. It's even gotten worse. I said I would fix it day one. It got worse.
Inflation is back. Now think of it. Inflation's back, and they said, "Oh, Trump inflation." I had nothing to do with it. These people.
People really need to understand that tax cuts to corporations are government spending. I know. They don't. They think tax cuts to corporations are good somehow. I don't know why. They think tax cuts to the wealthy are good. They don't Anyway, the Mickey Man. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs.
Have run the country.
My brother's a deficit hog. Oh my Lord. Deficit hogs.
They spent money like nobody's ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion. And they spent it on the Green New scam, I call it. It's the greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them. We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them. Dollar-wise, probably.
DEI and wokeism and transgenderism.
Well, that's all part of it, yeah.
And LGBTQ+.
Yes.
By the way, not in America. Other countries, not here.
You know, the amazing thing is when you see, like, the teaching of DEI,
The worst part about it is that the actual deficit hawks are in the Democratic Party, which is diametrically opposed to their ideals, or at least the ideals that they present, which is larger government and government spending initiatives.